Hi, this is Anne-Marie of BizDoctor. This video is to help you understand SEO, that's search engine optimization. So what I'm going to do with this video, first of all, is I'm going to do a new post for a blog and show you how to optimize that page. Then afterwards, I'm going to go to an old post which has basically broken a lot of the rules, and I'm going to correct it to show you how you can change things. The good thing about that is you will see the changes you can make that have no consequences and they're okay, and the changes really that you shouldn't make to any old posts. So first of all, we have a new topic. So I'm using actually Yetta Holmes. She's what I call a ninja healer. So we're using her blog today just to demonstrate this. So first of all, I'm going to just use some old text here to set up a blog post. So we'll take our title here and we're going to do a topic about divorce and how we use crystals to help. So back to copying it again. There we go. So that's our title. Then I'm just going to copy in we'll copy it all in actually, and I'll show you how we change things. So first of all, I've just copied in all the text we're going to use, and I'm just going to clean this up. Now the first thing I want you to notice is this URL here. Now this is the most important part that you start with. When you start a post or an article of any type, you want to focus on ideally using your keywords, and your keywords are the things that a visitor might be looking for or searching for that are relevant to this topic, which means those words are going to show up in this topic. That's how you optimize. So in this case, we're using the keyword divorce and crystals. We can use either one, but I'm just going to pick one today. So I've got divorce and crystals, the red power program. Now first of all, we decide on our keyword. So I'm going today to use divorce. So what I'm going to do is make sure divorce is as close to the beginning here as possible. Now I'm going to use that other keywords because this is key to Yetta's business. And I'm just going to use stack program there. Okay, now I don't actually have to use that, but what happens is that makes this easy to recognize if that's a blog post. If I had more than one on divorce and crystals, then this would be easy. So perhaps it's a little bit long, but I'm going to use that today. So I press OK. So I've got my most important keyword at the beginning. I've used crystal as well because it must show up in the title here. Because it's another keyword that might show up on her blog, then I've used that again. So I've got divorce and crystals, the red power program. Now then we move into the body here. Now your first thing is your main title, and it's very important that again your keyword shows up. So we've got divorce, 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 the red power program. And this heading here, the first heading on your first page, must always be a heading 2. If you have any heading 1s on your page, go through and take them off. You do not want to see heading 1s. So the first line must be a heading 2. Then if you like, you can have a subheading, but it goes down in order, ascending order. So that would be a heading 3. Oops. When this happens, we just do a carriage return. Then we'll make this a heading 3. And then we can just take out this space here. Now, the ideal thing, if we're going to have another heading here, the key for SEO is to create a balance. Yes, we want keywords in here because that gives your page power and ranking because Google says it's relevant. But at the same time, we don't want to fill it up so much that the title looks ridiculous to a user, because time is important in this modern age. So we don't want to waste our time for a user trying to figure out, well, what exactly is this article all about? Now we've got the headings in place. The next part is to make sure that this keyword, in this case divorce, is in the body of the article. and not too many times, but not too few times. And if it is too many or too few, I'm going to show in a moment how that will show you that there's an error. So let's just tidy up these paragraphs a little. And let's just say we have a whole paragraph there. Now what happens is it's very important now and again to have another title in your article, because your titles here, your heading 2s, are the most powerful in terms of Google saying, oh, that's interesting, that's more important. So we're going to give this one another heading 2. Oops. Again, we need spaces. So it's not being picked up in the whole paragraph. And then we just take out the spaces again. Okay, so originally, when I saw this article, the heading stopped there. Okay, but I've added on the word divorce just to make that, to pick up the keyword, but it also makes sense. Okay, so let's say that is our article, and I haven't actually checked this, but I don't see divorce coming up a lot, so that would be a good test. Now, so we've got our heading, we've got our URL there with our main keyword, we've got our keyword in our main heading, and again we've got another keyword in a heading further down. And you could do more headings, but this is quite a short article. Now this is the most important part in terms of SEO. This is the part that Google is going to read first. And this part basically says to Google, I'm a website owner, and if you've put information in here, you're telling Google that you're taking your business seriously. This is not just a page that's been put up. You have taken the time to look at your keywords, to think about your user and the relevance. So this gives you kudos, if you like. This will rank your page higher than another page of similar material just because you've done the SEO optimization. So the first thing we do is we put in our keyword here, which is divorce. Now sometimes if you have two keywords, the article might allow that if it's a difficult one where they have equal weight, but sometimes it will tell you it's not okay, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. So we pick our one keyword that is relevant. Then what I do is I copy this here. So I copy and I go into here, your SEO title, and it's picked that up from your article, and I paste it in there. Now I'm going to tidy this up a little bit. So this is something that if you went on Google as a user, this is the title. So I want to make this as relevant as possible. I need to use the keyword, but I don't want to use other words that are not relevant. So in this case, Yetta Holm is not particularly relevant, although she's an amazing lady. So we've got divorce and crystals, that's interesting, the Red Power program. Now I could add more, but watch what happens. If I add a little bit more like that, I get a warning here. And the warning says, Google is telling you that this is a fixed width and yours is too long. So if that was to be left there, your page would be penalized. So we go back to a nice short title. Now this part here, the meta description, what I do is I scroll up to the article, and I generally just grab, let's just say a little bit of the start text, because it's just a summary really, but it needs to pick up your keywords, and it also needs to say something about this article that the reader can glean what it's about quickly. So I'm going to use that title there, put a full stop. The Red Power system used for phases such as divorce. So I'm going to put a full stop there. And then a little more about it. Now it's telling me here that I've used up too many characters. So I'll cut this down a little bit. In this case, let's see what happens if I just take out this part here. That's still a little bit too long. So we'll run with that for the moment, and then let's see how it gets optimized. Now, what it's telling me here is this really gives you an indication of what's working and what's not working. So it's saying the article, good, the title, good, but it's saying there's something wrong with the URL. So let's go back to the URL. and see, have we spelt it correctly first of all? Yes, we have. We have that spelled correctly, that spelled correctly. Perhaps this is a little bit too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this word here and press OK. Let's see how that changes. Now I actually can't see why that would be a problem. So what I'm going to do is, when you start your new post, it's very important that you only save it as a draft. Okay, do not publish it until you're ready and you're happy with all your titles, because once it's published, it goes out and Google will register it. So you want to make as many changes as possible before it's picked up by Google. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this as a draft here. And I'm hoping it might adjust that URL. And as we have it, we've got a green light already, which is excellent. Yes, you see, it's adjusted itself. So sometimes there are some tweaks, but if you concentrate on getting all your keywords all the way down the line in here correct, and the correct URL at the top of the page, then ideally things will work out. Now, in this case, we've got a green light. What does that mean? Ideally, you're looking for a green. And I'll show you the control here. If you click on this button here called Control, it will run down the page. And if we just click on General here, as you can see, this was our SEO part that we were working on. But if you click on Page Analysis, it gives you an indication of if you had a different color, Google is giving you some tips about what might be wrong with that page that you might like to optimize. So you can look at those situations should a different color arise, and these can change. So your page is going to be red, and the advice that you're given is going to be very specific and very helpful. Now we have a green light, so that's basically saying that's the best you can have. We have green, and it works backwards: yellow, orange, and then red, which is basically there's a problem, you need to look at it. So we have a green light, so that's how we are optimized. Now, provided that page was ready to go and we had all the correct information in, which means we formatted all these pages. For example, here obviously there should be bullets. Okay, so we would tidy that up and make sure everything is ready for publishing. Okay, one good thing about, or one tip about SEO, the things that Google gives, let's say, kudos or points to, is obviously your headings. Bullets are another thing. If Google sees bullets as opposed to just, lines of text, it considers that of more value. So think about the opportunities to use bullets. It also gives power to perhaps subheadings like this, where you make bold and italic. It means it's given stress. So what Google is saying is you're helping the reader find out and assess very quickly relevant information so that they can scan through the page and find information fast. So you're thinking about the user. So Google says, okay, we like that. Okay, so think about your formatting, bullets. So let's say this page was ready for publishing. We would simply publish it here. And once it's published, it will go out and it will go register on your website and then go out to the search engines. Now, another thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to make some changes here to demonstrate to you how this might show that your page is not optimized. So if we go down, let's go back to our SEO section. Now we've decided that our focus word is divorce. Now let's say that we've set it up in the article for divorce, but in here we've got, let's say, the word power program. Okay, if I just click out of that, now it is showing up saying, no, there's a problem with the URL. In other words, that is not in your URL. So let's try another word. If I say crystals, for example, click out. Now it's telling me two things need looking at, which is the meta text here, because crystals is not in there. And it's also telling me that IntHold, which is the place here, crystals is not found either once or enough. So this here is very important to help you to find out where you might be optimizing that page. So it's very helpful. So always look at that. So a final thing just before, if I was going to publish this page, I would obviously allocate a category in the blog. You should not have a category blog, by the way. So let's say, what do we have here? So we would put it in crystals. And the second thing, we would add some tags. That's very helpful. Tags are just keywords that your user might search for, that this article would be relevant for them. So in this case, we would have the keyword divorce. We would have, let's say, crystals. And anything else, maybe this was a course, so we would have courser in there. And then we would just assign it. So if we just do that. So then we would also have a little picture, thumbnail picture, so that it looks attractive on our blog. And then we would be ready for publishing. Now, I'm obviously not going to publish this. What I am going to do now is that is a new post. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very old post from Yetta, and I'm going to tidy this up. In other words, how would we change these things? If this was an old post and you wanted to start optimizing your blog, how would we do that? And this is a great item because we've broken all the rules in this post, so I can show you what you can do and really what you shouldn't be doing. Now, this is a great example of an article that actually could be split up into, let's say, 1, 2, 3, actually 4 articles. This could be about applying the red power system through changes for divorce, for sickness, for moving, for job changes. But if you did that, and that would be great, this content here, you could not use the same content because Google is looking for unique content. So every time you copy the content into another article or another page, it devalues what you're doing. So if you could find a creative way to have this in 4 articles, writing about divorce, specifically sickness, then this would be a great idea. Because number one, this title is very long. So I would not have this as a main title. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the example that we've just set up with the new post. So if I go to my text, I'm going to focus this on divorce, just divorce. So no, let's keep the crystals. So we take our main heading there. Now I'm going to copy this into my body so I don't lose that text because I'm going to use it again. So I go back here, copy this. Right, so this is what I'm going to use as my title. Now, again, we've already decided for this topic, we're going to use divorce, just as we did in the other one. So we're going to put our keyword. Actually, one thing very important that I should mention to you. If this URL, which is your page reference, has gone out to many places on the internet, for example, if you've been using this and posting this to your social media, you've been using it as a course reference, it would not be smart to change this. Okay, you can change it, but it would not be smart. It would be better to work with what we have already. So if I go back to how it was in the beginning and just look at it, just cancel there. Okay, it's about the red system. What keywords do we have in there? We have job changes, moving, sickness. Okay, so we could still use divorce because it's in this URL. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Okay, so we'll leave it as it is, which means we're not touching that URL, even though it is very long. I'm going to use the keyword divorce, but I'm going to put it to the beginning. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these issues here and I'm going to make them the heading. Okay, but we're going to put divorce in the beginning because that's our keyword. And at the end, I'll have the red power program. And I'm going to make that our main heading. then what I'm going to do is take out this, the red pauses. Okay, for the moment I'm just going to leave that in and keep it part of the main body. So I'll just take out those. What I'll do, like I said before, is I would, for example, I would add in divorce here. And obviously I would make that sentence make sense, but I'm looking for ways to use the keyword to add it. Maybe I could put it at the beginning, which is even better. The closest to the beginning, the better. And then obviously you can find a way to make that make sense to the user. And any opportunity I can use this again further down with headings. Okay, change that to a heading 2. Obviously makes it more powerful. So I would go through looking for ways to create interesting, exciting headings using my keyword, and then making them a heading 2, and then of course a heading 3 if you have enough titles. Then we have to go back to our keywords here. We would put in divorce here. Again, we grab this title, which is taken from the article above, and we put in the title there. And now if that was a course, for example, we might add the word courses there as well, because it might be a very important keyword, but it has to be easy to read as a user, and when we click out here, it's still within the minimum width. So that's actually very helpful. So we will go up to our article and then grab something again, some relevant text. We will put it in our meta description, and we drag it down, and we have to link it up so it all makes sense. We've got too many words, so we will cut that down. Again, your keyword must be at the beginning. Divorce and crystals. So let's just take out some of this text again. Actually, I'm just going to keep deleting till we get to enough words so you can see. So it turns green. Okay, so no characters, it's green, so it says this page is good. Now we've got our keywords in, and so now what we're going to do is, we don't want it as a blog. We're going to put this in divorce, so we're going to allocate this into relationships. And we're going to add some tags, which is, of course, is divorce, crystals, maybe this is a courses. So we'd add that, energy, could be healing. Don't do too many of the tags, just think about what a visitor may be searching for that they would find this. In fact, I'm not going to do healing, I'm going to do a keyword which is in the article, which is always the most powerful. Job, change, and then just allocate it. So when I'm happy, I have lots of titles in here with the keyword in. I've changed my title, I've cut this down here, but I've kept my keyword at the beginning. Now I'm going to update. Now this is already published, so I need to update. I can't save as a draft anymore. So I need to update it to see how this color is going to change. So if we press update, let's see how we're doing. Now we've got a green, so that's wonderful. So this page is now optimized even more. Now there's one very important thing that I forgot to mention to you. This URL here, as I said, is probably the most important thing. In this case, we haven't changed it because let's say it's out on the internet. But let's say that we did want to change it. Okay, so we're going to re-look at it. The first thing is, do not use any Danish characters. Never use a Danish character in the URL. And whatever word happens to show up in this URL, this page name, it must be the same here. So for example, if we were to do this in Danish, okay, that would become an O and an E. But if we were to see the word in here, if it didn't look like that, then Google would consider it another word. So this is why we never use Danish characters. Now, if I was going to do that again, we could, if we're going to rewrite it, we could completely change it. Like for example, we could do, wow, that's a long one. We could do crystals, for example, crystals, and job change. Another important thing is we never have any of these little words like in, on, and, of. We use words that are keywords that a visitor might search for, and enough words so that the URL actually makes sense. So this would be crystals and a job change. Now, because we have those words in the URL, I'm not going to save this afterwards, but I'll show you what happens. We've got crystals, and now the focus is going to be crystals. So I would make crystal the first keyword, then I would say crystals, let's say, and job change, the red strong system. And then again, we would have to go down here. I could actually, if I rearrange these, we could actually still use the word divorce if we wanted to include more topics, which was relevant in the article, but we would just move job change to the beginning, so it's more powerful. And then again, we could use our keyword here and keep going down the page. So we're making now a job change actually the most powerful focus. So we decided, actually let's keep job change as our keyword. That's what we've done. So we'll change it here, job changes, and we click out. Then we will go up to our use our title here. Change and crystals. That's too long, so we take out this. We can still get courses in there, so which will be relevant, and then we would change these words round. Job change, and so as you see, as we change and we change the focus, this section here is telling us that everything's still good. So we could make the changes, but I would only recommend that, like you said, if that URL has not been used, maybe it hasn't been used for years, so you can change it and the links will still be found, but only change it really unless it's really necessary. So having changed all that and changing the focus, we could then update it, and I can, oh, actually, I can see that the title is the wrong way around. So if we put job shift there and crystals, I can see from all these keywords that actually that would turn green. So that's a quick overview of SEO, making sure your headings are right, your URL, do not use Danish characters, do not use little words, and avoid changing this as much as possible, and make sure you do as many changes as possible before you press your update or your publish.